Well, what's going on, guys? It is Carly here bringing you day 21 of my 31 Days of Horror 2021, and today we are finishing off with the Mummy films, and that would lead us to Abbott and Costello, Meet the Mummy from the year 1955. Now this movie, it has nothing to do with the previous Mummy sequels. It's more just an Abbott and Costello film, you know, that just happens to relate to a mummy. It's like a different mummy and story and everything like that. So there's no continuity here. But basically it's about Abbott and Costello. They're stuck in Egypt, and they end up getting intertwined with this whole plan to steal this medallion and from this mummy and get treasure from this princess. And like I said, they kind of wind up mixed up in this plan that they just sort of overhear, and you know, by the end there's like some more sinisterness to it, and it's kind of goes from there. So, you know, Abbott and Costello, they're known for these films. They have a lot of movies. I believe I read this is like their 28th Universal film that they did, you know, as far as their big old series. Of course, you have Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein as well. I don't know, I forget if that one came out before this or after, but I've watched that one in the past, so didn't have a need to rewatch it for this series. But anyway, obviously this is more of like a comedy horror film, spoofy, silly, goofy. It's not overly serious or anything, and it's honestly, it's comedy that doesn't really work for me too much. It's like that slapsticky type of humor, just goofy, silly stuff happens. Like there's a scene where, you know, they each have a burger, and I believe one has glass in it and the other one is fine, and they just keep saying, hey, look at that pretty lady over there, and the other one will be like, no, that one's way prettier, and then every time they look away, they switch the burgers, and it's like, haha, funny. And then, trying to think what else. There's a part where they're talking about the mummy, and they're like, oh, you have to have a mummy, like thinking they mean mommy, oh, lol. But, you know, I can see why people like this. It's just stupid. So people acting stupid, basically. That seems to be the big thing back in this time, much like the Three Stooges, and I do respect that, but it doesn't really work too much for me. I do like at the end, there is a portion where two of them wind up dressed up like a mummy, and then the actual mummy is running around, and they're trying to figure out, you know, who's the mummy and who isn't, and of course the real mummy kind of like growls and puts his arms up and chases you, and the other two are like, oh god, and running away from it. So I did find that rather humorous, but other than that, it's just not really for me. You know, I think it's very much a product of its time, and I know a lot of people do respect these films and this type of comedy, but it just doesn't really work for me. I don't really find it all that funny and amusing, but I still thought it was a pretty solid film. I definitely liked Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein a lot more. I recall when I watched that one, I really enjoyed it. So I think it's really just, you know, the whole mummy story isn't as interesting to me as well. So as, you know, opposed to Frankenstein and all the other monsters. So there's that, but, you know, in terms of quality and everything and story, I still think it was pretty good, so I would give this a 7 out of 10. Good film, just not really one that I overly love. So thank you guys once again for joining me. Like I said, this wraps up the Mummy movies in my collection. Yeah, I pretty much have to finish up the Invisible Man films and the Phantom of the Opera, and that would be it for the whole box set. So yeah, I'll try to probably wrap that up with this video series, I assume, and if not, I will afterwards. But thank you guys once again for joining me here for day 21, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 22.